The Headstones are gearing up for a Canadian tour in Ontario this winter. We're talking to Hugh Dillon of the Headstones on the phone right now. How you doing, Hugh?
Hey, Nick. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So you guys are kicking things off in Guelph on December the 19th. It got me wondering, how do the Headstones, how do you guys celebrate Christmas?
You know, really, I mean, these kind of gigs have kind of become a tradition. So part of Christmas now is the fact that the band's always playing. You know, we made the record last year. The year before we were playing, I think, in December. And in the old days, we used to always play Boxing Day, which was always a hassle because we were super hungover. But but it's just, you know, it's the same as it ever was. We're back in action and killing it, and it's fun.
Right on. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the latest record, Love and Fury. It was a decade in between the Oracle of Hi-Fi and this new one. And I was wondering how you guys approached recording this new record. Was it like you guys had never been apart? What was that first jam like when the Headstones got back together?
It was that. It was like we hadn't skipped a beat, you know, and really it was just the excitement. It was the fans that do it, because, you know, we played a gig at the Sound Academy, you know, a couple of years ago, and we hadn't played in 8 or 9 years, and we were playing to help a friend of ours out, and just to see all the folks and, you know, people that we've seen a million times in the Hammer, people that we've seen a million times just in Ontario showed up at this one gig. And that's really what kick-started the whole machine again, because you realize that people are so passionate and just behind the band. They know the songs, and then when we put up on Pledge Music while we're thinking of making a record, we got like 100% of our goal in 24 hours, and 300% of our goal, and by the time the Pledge thing finished, and then it was just up to us to release this album. And, you know, our fans are super vocal, Nick, and if it had sucked or was stupid or there was no point, they would have said so, and we wouldn't be talking.
Exactly, and with something like PledgeMusic.com, that's something that's really, really new and something that bands are discovering. How was that for you guys? And you said you got the full funding in 24 hours. Did that surprise you, the amount of fan outreach? Yeah,
it did. It did. I thought, you know, because I knew we had the tunes, you know, and just, you know, but, you know, we've got, like I said, it really is the fans, and they really know the band well. I'd forgotten how long we'd been playing. We played, you know, I remember playing in the Hammer, for example, you know, to 2 or 3 people, 4 or 5 people. You know, and the year later, 30, 40 people, you know, and you're always hanging around. You're hanging around with them afterwards. They get to know you. You get to know them. So it becomes, over the course of all these years, people know your band and know us, and we know them. So it becomes a real, an easy thing to deliver, you know, because we don't want to say, hey, we're going to do this and then not do it. So it's a great. I can't say enough about it. The thing about social media is I didn't understand it before, but now to see fans on Facebook and our website and telling us what to do sometimes, Nick.
It happens. But that means that they care about the band and they care about what you guys are doing.
Well, that's what it is, and that's why it's fun. And, you know, the gigs are just fun. They rock. You know, it's just an assault, and the fans are a big part of that. It's fun, you know. It's fun again, you know. And I would, you know, there's so much. Life's too short. If you're not really into it, don't bother, you know.
Yeah, definitely. We're talking to Hugh Dillon of the Headstones. The tour kicks off in Guelph on December the 19th. I just got to say, one of my, you know, I've known the band for so long, known your hits for so long, that back when I was in high school, one of my few memories of high school is walking through the hallways and the DJ who used to play stuff over our loudspeaker in the morning, playing Smile and Wave as I'm walking through the hallways. And just hearing that song just brings me right back to all of the hits that you guys had.
Yeah. It's funny. Well, music means so much to people, you know.
Yeah.
And to me, I listen to things and hear things on the radio, and you know, you really have to be a music fan. Music's got to mean a lot to you, and that's what live music and live rock and roll is all about. And it was to me when I grew up. You know, I remember my biggest influence was Teenage Head, a band from the Hammer. And
yeah.
I'd be a kid in Kingston, the same thing. I'd be walking in high school and hearing "Picture My Face" from Teenage Head or "Let's Shake," and I'd lose it. You know, and that drove my existence for many years. I wanted to do that. I loved rock and roll.
And you always will, even though, want to talk a little bit about your career, obviously, as an actor on Flashpoint and other things, on The Killing. Does your work as an actor ever inform your performances as a musician or vice versa?
Well, I've been lucky because on the shows I've worked on, like when I started on Durham County or on Flashpoint, the first couple of seasons I got to write songs, and so I always continued to write music. So I didn't ever feel that. Because the producers I worked with were cool. I didn't ever feel like, oh, I'm an actor. Everybody knew I wrote songs and played in the Headstones, and guys on the crew knew it. And so it was like, it's just a part of, still when the band plays, the crew shows up and certain actors show up. And I started acting, doing a hardcore logo. So the musician part has always been a part of it for me. The shows, having said that, Flashpoint was huge. It's seen worldwide. So what's funny is in other parts of the world, no one would ever guess that I played in this kind of subculture under the radar rock and roll band for decades,
Yeah, so they're kind of discovering you, like, kind of backwards. They discover you as an actor, and then they realize, hey, this guy was in a band.
Yeah. And that's how people always discover rock and roll. They hear a song, and then let's say they hear a Stone song, and they buy one album, and they realize other songs they love are on records, decades old, and and that's the way of the world. It's like and I'm lucky to be around to have that happen.
And the tour back in Southern Ontario in Guelph on December the 19th. Do you guys have anything special for the holidays, planned for the shows? Any Christmas songs, anything funky?
Well, it's for us, it's always, trying to pull out some of the more obscure songs and put a couple of songs people want, make sure we play stuff people want to hear. And then, the new record's done so well is we've got to put those songs in. So it's like trying to figure out what is going to work for the live shows, and that's exciting because all of a sudden we're pulling out songs that we haven't played in years, or maybe we didn't play the last couple of years, and songs off a new record at this stage in the game that have legs live. It's just, they're explosive shows, as our fans can attest.
So the fans can let off a little bit of steam over the holidays and rock out with the Headstones. And you guys are doing a New Year's show in Buffalo, or is it Niagara Falls, New York, on New Year's? What's on tap for you guys in the New Year? Is there going to be more new Headstones music? What's going on acting wise?
Well, it's just a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, we're looking at doing a couple of things. I'm looking at doing a couple of things, and I'm back in LA in January, and the band's looking at when to play next. And there's a couple of things. We got a couple of new tunes. We might put out a couple of these. We're playing an acoustic show for some of our fans from Pledge Music next week, and it's almost like a weird Johnny Cash Clash kind of thing, unplugged. It's pretty cool. We hadn't really done that before. I think we did it once in our whole career. And hearing the tunes, and we've got a couple of new tunes, and hearing them in that stripped down kind of way is kind of cool. So we might, put some out for the fans. We might play a couple of shows next year that way. I don't know. What I do know is we're back and are going to be back for a long time.
Right on. Well, we're glad the Headstones are back, and we're looking forward to the tour kicking off in Guelph on December the 19th.
Excellent. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate the time and you guys supporting the band.
Anytime, man. Thanks so much. Hugh Dillon of the Headstones. All the tickets and tour dates for their December shows at headstonesband.com. Thanks so much, Hugh.